In this lesson, we're going to look at mixed numbers. Recall if we have a top-heavy or an improper fraction like 17 over 6. We can convert that into a mixed number by looking at 6 into 17. 6 goes into 17 two times. 2 times 6 is 12. And 17 minus 12 is 5. So we have 2 and 5/6 for 17/6. If we're going the other way, if we have 2 and 5/6, the way we convert that into an improper fraction is to take 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5, all over 6 to give us 17/6. Now we're interested in adding and subtracting mixed numbers, so let's take a look at the following question. Let's look at 2 1/3 plus 5 1/4. Now there are several ways to do this. You could add 2 and 5, then you could add 1/3 and 1/4, and then you could combine them to see what you're going to get. So we could certainly try that. 2 plus 5 plus 1/3 plus 1/4. 2 plus 5 is 7 plus 1/3 plus 1/4. And then we need to do 1/3 plus 1/4 to go ahead and get that finished. 1 over 3. 1 over 4 is 1 over 2 times 2. Common denominator will be 2, 2, 3. One is the numerator, 1 is the numerator. 3 is new, so on the bottom 2 times 2 is new. So put 2 times 2 on top. Notice if you would cancel the 2's, you'd get 1/3. On the bottom 3 is new. Multiply 3 on the top. Notice if you cancel the 3's, you'd get 1 over 4. What does this give me? 2 times 2 is 4 over 12. 1 times 3 is 3 over 12. Put those together and you get 7 over 12. So the answer here is 7 plus 7/12, which of course means 7 and 7/12. And that's the method that is most typically taught. It's got some drawbacks though, because if you have a situation like this, if you have 3 4/7 plus 1 4/5, you'll notice when you add the fraction parts together, you're going to get another mixed number. But again, we can manage that. So we could think of this as 3 plus 1 plus 4/7 plus 4/5. 3 plus 1 is 4 plus, we want to do 4/7 plus 4/5. Cannot factor the denominators. So the denominator is going to be 7 times 5. In each case there was a 4 there before. Notice to get from the first fraction to the second, multiplied by 5 on the bottom, so multiplied by 5 on the top. To get from the first to the second, multiplied by 7 on the bottom, multiplied by 7 on the top. This is 20 over 35. And this is 28 over 35. So if you add those together, 20 plus 28, that gives me 48 over 35. So 4/7 plus 4/5 is going to give us 48 over 35. Now, the problem with that is we can't write the mixed number as 4 and 48/35, because with the mixed number, the fraction must be a proper fraction, i.e. the numerator must be smaller than the denominator. So we're going to rewrite 48 over 35. How? 35 into 48. 1 times 35 is 35. When we subtract, 48 minus 35 is 13. So we get 1 and 13/35. So we have 4 plus 1 and 13/35. What does that mean? That means 4 plus 1 plus 13/35. So the result there will be 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 13/35. Or, of course, 5 and 13/35 is how that would be done. But the greatest challenge in these types of problems is subtraction. So let's take a look at a couple of those problems. If we have 5 3/4 minus 1 1/3, I strongly suggest that you do subtraction by converting to improper fractions first. 4 times 5 is 20. 20 plus 3 is 23. That's 23/4 minus 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. Minus 4/3. And then we're going to go ahead and subtract these to take 23/4. Minus 4/3, factor the denominator. 23 over 2 times 2. So you'll notice the common denominator here must have 2 2's. 2 times 2 must have a 3. So the common denominator will be 2 times 2 times 3. "23" was there before. 4 was there before. 2 times 2, what's new on the first fraction is a 3 in the denominator. Multiply the top by 3. 3 was there before. What's new on the denominator is 2 times 2. Multiply 2 times 2. So 20 times 3 is 60. 3 times 3 is 9. So we get 69 over 12. 4 times 4 is 16 over 12. So that when we subtract those, 3, 5, 53 over 12. So what we get here is we get 53 over 12, but we generally speaking want to rewrite that as a mixed number. So we'll take 12 into 53. That, of course, is 4. 4 times 12 is 48. 53 minus 48 is 5. So we get 4 and 5/12 as our answer here. So believe me, that is the preferred strategy we want to use there, because when we have a problem like this, if we have 2 1/5 minus 1 2/3, the way this is typically taught requires a fancy borrowing technique, but I still believe it is simpler to go ahead and convert to improper fractions and subtract. So let's quickly do that. 5 times 2 is 10 and 1 is 11. 11/5 minus 3 times 1 is 3 and 2 is 5. Minus 5/3. So let's go ahead and do that subtraction. 11/5 minus 5/3. The denominators are factored. So the common denominator is 5 times 3. In the first fraction, we multiplied by 3 in the denominator. 11 was there first. So multiply by 3 on the top. Notice if the 3's were to cancel, you'd get 11/5. On the bottom, we had a 5 before. And to get from 3 to 5 times 3, we had to multiply by 5. Notice if the 5's cancel, again, you get 5/3, an equivalent fraction. 11 times 3 is 33. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 3 is 15. And then 33 minus 25, I believe, is 8. So this is 8/15. And when we subtract this, we also get 8/15.